So, hello and welcome to a demo of the new OPC-UA server, or of the enhanced OPC-UA server that we've added to Crimson 3.1. We're just about to put this out into beta, so what I'm going to do here is show you some of the things that it can do. I'm going to start by running the configuration tool. I'm going to be talking to an edge controller, which I have sitting on my desk here. It's actually connected to a dedicated Ethernet port on my device that's on the 100 network. So let's just give this a number. It really doesn't matter what it is, because I'm not going to refer to it by its IP address. I'm going to give it a local name. I'm going to go in here and set up some tags. Very quickly, I'm going to set up 4 numeric tags. Go onto the display page. Drag the tags across. Make those there. I'm going to go onto the page properties. Actions on update. Tag 1++. Tag 2++. Tag 3++. Tag 4++. And I'm going to go and set that to enhanced update rate. I'm going to go into my web server. I'm going to turn on remote control because I'm going to be using that. And I'm going to download this. So obviously nothing OPC going on right now, but we are just setting up the device. Go into Chrome here, http opc.local. Yes, I know, that's okay, don't worry. It's just because the device changed. Come on. There's my web server, remote view, and sure enough, I've got 4 tags that are changing. So that's nothing particularly startling, right? But it's important because that's what we're going to be using to read. So let's go into communications again. Here's our OPC-UA server. Needs a better icon, but I haven't got around to drawing that yet. Enable the server, go into data. Let's take my tags, drop them in there, download them. And that's all I need to do to set it up. So how do we know it's working? Well, let's open a client here, OPC-UA Expert. And let's go into Add Server. Now, we need to give it its IP address. Of course, we don't, because we know it's OPC-UA local, or it's OPC.local. There it is. There's the OPC.local server. That would be the server name if we change that. Let's go and connect. And let's browse. And here it is. And as you would expect, there's the server object, which is specified by the consortium, and sure enough, it says Crimson 3.1, all this good stuff. But the interesting stuff lives in this folder, where we have, just like before, the arrays that expose the tags that we had as either doubles, integers, or strings as appropriate. But also now we have a folder that contains the tags themselves. And if we look at tag 1 here, we can see here's its value, its description, whether we can read and write it, all sorts of wonderful things here. And this stuff, insofar as it can be, is actually linked to what's going on in Crimson. So if we go in here, and on tag 1, we're going to set the description, and we're going to say this is tag 1, and we're going to download that. Now I'm going to force this to reconnect. It will reconnect on its own, but it's quicker if you force it, because that way it doesn't have to time out. And we go into tag 1 there, sure enough that this is tag 1. The other thing we can do that we didn't used to be able to do before is we can enable writes. So if we enable writes here, then, and again I'm going to cycle this by hand, we can go in, go to that tag 1 again, and here's the value. You see the value steadily increasing. It's here on the display. But let's put it up to 5,000. And then it's going to go to 5,000 and it's going to increase from there. And sure enough, you can see that's happened. So that worked. So that's all pretty nice. You'll recall in Crimson, we can organize tags in folders. So if I create a group called Group 1 and put tags 1 and 2 in there, and let's suppose I create another group called Group 2 and put tags 3 and 4 in there, we can have these tags organized. And you'll also recall that, when you refer to these in a program in Crimson, you refer to it as like group1.tag1 and things like that. And sure enough, by default, if we cycle our server here again, I'm going to rebrowse because we've changed the schema. There are our tags with their full names: Group 1 tag 1, Group 1 tag 2, Group 2 tag blah, 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 blah. So that's all very nice. But what would be much nicer is if somehow we could arrange these. And sure enough, we can. If we go into tag structure under browsing, say folders with short names, wait for this to come back. Obviously, nothing's changed on here, right? But if we go into our OPC-UA client, again, I'm going to cycle it. You don't have to. It will recover. Rebrowse. And sure enough, now these are organized in groups. So we have tags, Group 1, Tag 1. And there it is. And likewise, these tags here. Now, there was that short names option. If you put full names in there, then this leaf node, instead of being called tag1, will actually be called group1.tag1. Wasn't sure what customers would want, so you know what? Let's give them both. Other thing we can do is also show tag properties. By default, I don't have that enabled, but let's enable that. We'll come back to what state text means in a second, and let's download that. Sure enough, again, we're going to just quickly cycle it because we want it to recover a bit more quickly and not be waiting for it. Come on, off you go. And the client's decided it doesn't want to disconnect. Come on. Sometimes the client has to time out and do the disconnect itself. There it is, it's back. And sure enough, now if we go into tag 1, we see under it, we have all these wonderful properties. So are there any alarms on here? What's it represented as text? So that's a numeric value of whatever it is. This is it as text. What's its background color? What's its deadband? What's its description? Does it have minimum and maximum? Well, let's go set that up, shall we? Let's go into tag 1 and go into the format. And I'm going to put a numeric format here. And I'm going to give it a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 999. I'm going to give it a prefix that says it's approximate and it's going to be in feet. So that's a bit silly, but whatever. Onto our display page. And you can see it says it's approximately whatever feet. Be nice to have a space, wouldn't it? But whatever, we'll worry about that later. And back into the OPC-UA client. And, oh, it's reconnected on its own. You see, if you give it time, it does. And if we go into the prefix, sure enough, there's the tilde. If we go into the units, there it is in feet. If we want the maximum, it's 999. You want the minimum, it's 0. So all this richness is coming over from Crimson automatically. And all of that's available to you. The other thing you can do, that again is optional because I wasn't sure whether people wanted it or not. If we go into tag 2 and make this a multi-state, and I'm going to give it 4 states, and I'm going to call them 0 is 0, 1 is 1. I have a lot of imagination here. 3 is 3. And I'm going to download that. And in here, I'm going to say that I do want state text. Sorry, I forgot to download. Let this reconnect now. Now that's, it's displaying a value that actually isn't included in its range that it can handle. So you know what, I'm going to be smarty and I'm going to go into my display page. And this is tag 2, isn't it? I'm going to say set a tag 2 plus plus or group 1 tag 2 plus plus. I'm going to change that to be group 1.tag 2 plus 1 mod 4, which will force it into wrapping around, since that way it will display things that are actually part of its domain, I guess. There you go, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So here's our OPC-UA tool. Again, I'm going to force a reconnect. Oh, I accidentally deleted the server. Oh dear. Not a problem. Reconnect. Come on, there we go. And if we see it, we will see, sure enough, tag 2. Now we have state text listed, and you can see we get an array that contains the states. So here when we look at the value of the tag, it still has a value of 0. Remember, the formatting object doesn't change the value, it just changes how it's presented. So the value is 0, or whatever it's cycling through. The as text contains the text version, but you've also got the state text and the state count, should you wish to have a look at this and decide what you want to do. So that's kind of nice. It's just cycling here. So that's pretty much what we've added. There's another couple of options on the OPC-UA server here. You can change the server name. So by default, you notice it's using opc.local. So we could call this Mike server or whatever. And we can change the host name that it's using if you want to put the name that would be used to resolve DNS. But basically, that's it. That's what you can configure. And again, if we go back into here, there we go. Where are we? State count is 4. State text is 1, 2, 3. All this good stuff. So that's it working with the test tool. Let's shut that down. And let's do something else. Let's go into Kepware. So here we have Kepware configuration. And I'm going to add a channel. It's going to be an OPC-UA client. It's going to want an address. The address is going to be opc.local 4840 again, or whatever you've configured it to. That's configurable. No security policies, blah, 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 all the defaults. I'm going to add a device, all the defaults again. There we go. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make one change, which is I'm going to put this onto poll mode. And now I can actually add the tags, and this is new. This didn't used to work, but it works now. If we go here, we can browse. So there we go. Here's our tags. Tag 1, tag 2, and can we select all of these? There we go. Let's add them. So those are added to our tags now. I think that's how it works. And they're sure enough, here they are organized by folder. Look. And if we go in and run the quick client, we will see, once it actually bothers to talk to us, come on, there we go. There's the values. It's just as you would expect. And sure enough, as before, we can write to this. So let's write this to 8,000. And 8,000 it is, and it carries on talking up from there. So that's it pretty much. We've got connectivity to KEP, we've got connectivity to the test tool, we've got the richer schema of tags so that you can get in there and organize them by folders. We've got all these extra properties that you can get access to, and we support writes, and we support renaming of the server, and we support moving the server to a different port, and just about anything else you would like. So that is the wonderful enhanced Crimson 3.1 OPC-UA server. And I hope it'll do what you need for your application. Thank you.